Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dusted on Gaming, doing a little bit of Grixis Death Shadow. Same list we ran yesterday. Right now we're currently running the 3-1 split on Tastiger. Main deck really hasn't changed all that much from the last couple times we've tested it. Sideboard, I was pretty pleased with the Abrade yesterday, so we're back to running the Abrade. Beyond that, we have the heavy graveyard anti-graveyard package, couple of Leon the Last Hopes, and then still the one of Ceremonious Rejection, the one of Stubborn Denial, couple PZs, Anger of the Gods, Abrade, Dreadbore. That eventually at some point we're gonna have to test Kolaghan's Command and such, but beyond that, it's been pretty fun. Gonna hop into some 2-man queues today. I really don't have time to do a full league, so I just wanted to do a little bit of testing since the RPTQ is coming, and this is pretty much the deck I'm locked into right now since Burn has been doing so dismally of late. Maybe I shouldn't be so results oriented, but there we go. Go ahead and hit yes. I'd like to play first. This hand is a little interesting in what it's trying to do. It's definitely a keep. Island, not exactly the card we were looking for here, but alright, looks like we're up against some type of Wizards deck. So I think the most problematic card here is probably the Obstructionist, but for now I think we take one of the 1-drops and kill the other one. Plan on Thought Seizing the other one if necessary. Tastiger is nice here. So we get to go fetch, grab Steam Vents here, Thought Scourer, deploy the Tastiger this turn. So we don't have any way to bring anything back. Let's really prioritize leaving the whatchamacallit in the graveyard. See if the Delver flips. Does not. Another Delver could be slightly problematic here. So, Wizard's Lightning and Obstructionist. Gotta take the Obstructionist here. Bolt one of the Delvers. Sure. I think that might be a little bit of aggressive use of their whatchamacallit there. Go flip. So I drew a creature of some kind. What's up, War Dog? How you doing? shorten this game as much as possible before our opponent draws a bunch of bolts to kill us. Oh, Mutavault. That makes things a little bit complicated. Casino went well today. Is there a difference between 5 and 6 here? I guess Burst Lightning would be the consideration, but I don't really think we're going to need any of those discard spells. So, here comes the Gurmag. Do you have a counterspell? Yeah, I remember you saying last time you talked about it, it didn't end well. Attack for lethal here. It's just activating 2 Univolts. Sure. Chump, chump. Yep. If you remember on the channel, I tried out the Is It version. I thought it was fun. I haven't given it a serious enough consideration, but no, I haven't really tried any of the burn decks lately. I'll get back to kind of screwing around and messing around with some of the some of that kind of stuff once. Hey, Commander Root, thanks for the follow. I'll get back to messing around with more of that stuff once the RPTQ is yeah, I played Blue-Red Thing in the Ice a week or so ago. I'll get back to messing around with that stuff once the RPTQ's over. I really kind of have to knuckle down on RPTQ testing. Stubborn Denial is interesting. Probably want to braid. Alright. Anger of the Gods is certainly a consideration. Probably want to go down some amount of our life loss effects. Thoughtseize is good, but I don't know that I want a terribly high amount of them. Burn's been going terribly, so I'm a little lackluster on that choice. Death Shadow here has been solid, and Jeskai just isn't really a consideration. And those are really the only 3 options I have at this point. So, obviously there's a consideration for Anger of the Gods in this matchup, but I think we want to stay as lean as possible We'll see if they have like a Pyromancer or something planned. But, his hand's a little clunky. I think with Bolt and Shadow we keep, but the hand could definitely use like a Faithless Looting or a something of that effect. Relic's gonna make our Gurmag's a little bit worse here. Fortunately, I don't know if they have too many answers to a Resolve Death Shadow. Nimble, Disdainful Stroke, Lightning Bolt. Well, Disdainful Stroke's going to be kind of meaningless here with Relic kind of keeping our Gurmag Anglers in check anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Obstructionist and kind of rely on this Death Shadow to get there. It's kind of a bit of a nombo for our opponent to bring in both Disdainful Stroke and whatchamacallit, but, you know, whatever. Go ahead and play out this fetch land. Hopefully our opponent will get reckless and kind of bold us here. Alright, so it doesn't look like Blood Moon's on their agenda here. Not that I would expect it out of them with Univolt and such, but so now we have to play the Death Shadow dance. How low do you go? It's possible I fired off that whatchamacallit too early. So I could play out Death Shadow here. Potentially have to bolt myself. That doesn't feel good. Alright, why do that when our opponent can bolt us themselves? I don't have Thoughtseize right now. If I had Thoughtseize, I would have played it. Wizard's Retort. Well, that's unfortunate. Don't think there's any way we could have played around that. So their hand is Disdainful Stroke and one unknown. That was nice of them to pop their Relic. Yeah, I probably played it a turn too early, because I needed to be able to clear the way for that Death Shadow. Delver. Push it. Push it real good. Dun 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 dun. Na 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 na. Nun, 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 nun. So now our opponent has Disdainful Stroke. So I think I'm just going to go ahead, grab a tap land here. I definitely want blue. This is interesting. Don't think our opponent's ever going to tap down on Disdainful Stroke, but, you know, some point they'll have to tap some mana to do some stuff. It's a lot of Mutavaults. Wait for it to attack. And we play Snapcaster Mage. See if we can get you to tap some of that wonderful blue mana of yours. Yep, grab a Fatal Push. Conveniently holding up their Disdainful Stroke. If they had Blood Moon at this point, God bless them. Goodness. Do we attack with Snapcaster Mage here? I don't think so. I think attacking is just too dangerous. Go ahead and bolt that guy. Going down to 6 here obviously is risky, but we gotta start playing out these big fishies. And since we're flooding anyway, we may as well do it. Get that Disdainful Stroke out of their hand. Big fish, and got countered now. What you got, friend? Okay, one card in hand. Sure, sure. Comes the Mutavaults. Definitely gonna trade off with one of those. Hopefully we get like a good draw here. That one's not bad. So can we play both here? We can, but it's going to cost us our entire graveyard. Listed on nothing. Sucks because maybe I should have no, we're too low of a life total to exchange blows with them. I did make a mistake there. I probably should have waited a turn on Liliana so we could tick down and get Snapcaster Mage back. Especially since the longer game doesn't necessarily benefit us. Let's play Death Shadow first, see what they got. Big fishy going swinging now. Ironically, they don't have any burn spells in their graveyard. That said, I guess their hand could be like Lightning Bolt Snapcaster and then we're dead. But, you know, Or Bolt Bolt. Nimble Obstructionist could be a problem here. We're thinking about something. Alright. Alright, there's a Soul Scar Mage. It's a relatively decent jump blocker. Inquisition's not a bad draw here. Her hand feels like it's like a bolt and some other nonsense. Burst Lightning to the face. Okay. Figured you were holding on to a bolt effect the way you were. Oh, they were one man short of killing us. It's kind of fortuitous. All of their various Got anything else, or is it a land? It's a spell snare. Naughty, naughty opponent, you. Swing the shadow here, force them a jump block. Yeah, the Snapcaster, play it, friend. I know you're drawing a blank, so depends on what that last card in your hand is. probably go ahead and play one more match tonight. Wasn't going to be a long testing session. Just wanted to get a few matches in this evening. Let's play first, yes. Yeah, this hand seems pretty decent. We're 5 on turn 1, 7 on turn 2. Yep. This is definitely a potentially aggressive Death Shadow draw. Obviously depends on what our opponent's playing over there. The one I'm likely attending is in 2 weeks from today. The cards are already ordered that I need for Death Shadow, so... Wow. Okay. So this Thoughtseize may not even hit anything. What you working with? Tron. Yep. Tron. I don't know if the game was over there, ironically. I mean... Okay, yeah, that definitely would have hurt my opponent. Definitely want a Braid and Dreadbore. Dismembers are not Actually... Dismember is probably more relevant than Fatal Push. I guess... Well, Ceremonious Rejection and Stubborn Denial. And then... some consideration for Peasy, but I just feel that's too slow of a card. So, try it like that. Just trying to disrupt our opponent as much as possible. Obviously, this is one of those matches that you feel very fortunate to have stolen game 1, because this is not an easy matchup by any means. From what I understand, it's a pretty even matchup. Like, this hand's a pretty easy mulligan. This will be our turn to mulligan the 6. From what I understand, it's a pretty even matchup, but obviously... Tron can do Tron things and go nuts. Alright, I mean, this isn't the best hand for us, but it's okay. I'm all getting to 4. Don't think we want a second Thoughtseize right now. Obviously, would really like to find a threat here. Worm Coil and Ancient Stirrings. I think we take Worm Coil for right now, because that's the one they're more likely to be able to cast. Alright. Wow, that's normally be pretty unfortunate here. Come on. Alright, well. Here goes your ancient stirrings. What'd you find? Mine? Alright. Means any threat you find is now a problem. Alright, we didn't find a threat, so we probably die here. Why would Nature's Claim be in their deck? Alright, well, I mean, if we ever... we had no reason to cycle it anyway. Our play lines were already locked in, so the extra information really wouldn't have done anything. And there was also an outside consideration of holding it as a threat. Alright, well, let's see what's going on over there, even though I'm pretty sure it's like a land and... oh. 2 Nature's Claims. Sure? I guess it's a way to keep yourself alive. It's a lot of Nature's Claims. Yeah, that's got to resolve, unfortunately. Just really hope they're fine as a card here. Nope, it's a star. It's unfortunate. Definitely a game we're likely to lose at this rate, because they have assembled Tron and... alright. There is a Death's Shadow. Just hope they draw Planeswalker or whatever base threats, not Wormcoil Engine or Eldrazi. Of course it's a Wormcoil Engine. It's ironically like their... well, not ironically, it's like their best threat against us, so... It's possible I want another Dismember over, like, a Lightning Bolt. Nope, nope, nope. I guess Snappy has some value, but they could be bringing in, like, relics and stuff, so... I don't want to go too far down the Snappy rabbit hole. This is why Tron's such a pain. It's like, they mulligan to 4 and still win the game rather easily. So. But, yeah, War Dog, I'll be streaming some more varied stuff tomorrow night. Tonight I was just wanting to get a short, like, testing stream in, so... like, I'll probably end up doing... did you play Rock last night in FNM, or did you not go to FNM? This hand's a little dangerous. Like, if this island was a fetch land, this hand would be a lot more palatable. I mean, I still think we keep it, but this hand could dead end and we die, so. Sphere, Star, Tormod's Crypt. I guess we take Wormcoil since it's the card we can't beat. Or is it just Tormod's Crypt? I guess we just take Tormod's Crypt here. Sure. Come on, fetch land. This is what I meant about this hand, like, bricking and dying. I think we're just going to run out the Snapcaster Mage next turn. Is it right to run out Snapcaster Mage here? I honestly don't know. It's gonna do it. I'm not happy about the result, but there's no guarantee we're gonna hit a land here. Yeah, this hand was probably a mulligan. Yep. We're not being Wormcoil Engine, so that is the way it goes. Oh, then we would have drawn the Bloodstained Mire. Oh well. Go ahead and run one more match. I'm actually kind of hoping we run into that Tron deck again. No, it sounds weird, but that's actually a matchup that I like actively want to test against. That and like, I don't think it's the same. No, it's not the same person. This hand could be anything, both positive and negative. Sure, you get nothing. You get nothing. Take a straight race, sure. Alright, I mean, certainly a... So I have a 6 in 50 chance to draw... 6 in 51 chance to draw a discard spell. So I think I just pass here. Sickle Street Wraith at the end of my turn. Tokens. This is going to be a roughin'. Alright, Thought Scour was a good draw here. Awkward. I'd rather play Gurmag Angler, but that Temur Battle Rage is one of our main outs to get through. Okay, so you get a Lightning Bolt. Getting Path here? Yep. So in multiple ways, it's kind of a good thing we got the Gurmag Angler here. Looks like I gotta delve it away anyway, so. It has the multiple Path to Exile draw. Don't think we Faithless Loot right now. You have a third path? I was about to say, do you seriously have a third path to Exile? That would be... I shouldn't have played that fetch land. Should not have played that fetch land. Let's get extra damage in here. And here comes Lingering Souls Parade. Oh, Spectral Possession, even better. Come on, show me a TBR. See if we can get our opponent to like double or triple block here. No blocks, huh? It's an interesting one. Interesting gambit. Alright, so we'll definitely push one. Faithless Looting. Alright, Street Race definitely an interesting draw. Why don't they play the land? Presume we should just bolt this here. Okay. Alright, so I think game 1 is by far the harder game. So, black-white tokens. Anger of the Gods. Anger of the Gods. Dreadbore for some amount of planeswalkers. Engineered explosives. Probably interested in these young pyromancers. Interested in these Lilianas, and probably our Stubborn Denial. These Fatal Pushes and Dismembers are mostly garbage. How likely are they to bring in Graveyard Hate? I think pretty decently. So I think I'll cut a little bit of Graveyard Hate here, or hedge a little bit against Graveyard Hate. Thought Seasons are reasonable, but counterspells are probably better in the mid game. This hand's a little weird. Do we keep this hand? I guess. Let's see what we got going on here. Dreadbore. I think I'm in the market to draw a Dreadbore. Just because it's a reasonable card against a lot of what our opponent's got going on over there. Hopefully this isn't Intangible Virtue. Makes our Liliana, the Last Hope, look a lot worse. I mean, sure. Shouldn't be too terribly surprised at Rest in Peace here. So we'll go ahead and Thought Scour them. Alright, I mean, we're sort of doing stuff. These Snapcasters, though, are just basically now chump blockers for, or chump attackers for Lingering Souls tokens. That's kind of gutsy. You got stubbed. Got ourselves a Death's Shadow. We go down to 11 here. Play ourselves a Death's Shadow. Pass. The Street Wraith may end up being an attacker, so I'm not too inclined to cycle that yet. Yeah, he got hit by my stubby D. That's unfortunate. I guess... Do we cycle here in response? Hoping to hit one of... Alright, I mean... let's run our Snapcaster Mage. Awkward. Aw, that's not fun, opponent. You're gonna take away my anger of the gods. Took away Snapcaster Mage. That's like the last card I would have expected them to take of the three. I don't know that Ambush Viper is all that good here. Sure. Conclave Tribunal, sure. Wow, I almost passed through my own turn. Missed some free damage there. It's unfortunate. Last card in hand's probably something useless, right? Wow, 3 Conclave Tribunals. Alrighty then. Got souls. This is obviously only a temporary solution to a permanent token problem. Because that Tribunal will be used on Liliana next turn, most likely. Alright. Sure. I mean, we only have so many answers to tokens, so... I can't pop for 4, unfortunately. Yeah, but to be fair, we are 26 cards into our deck. Just gonna hold that one. Because at this point I can cast a Gurmag Angler if I have to. It's gonna be a hard one to beat. Alright. Still have 2 Teamer Battle Rages and Anger of the Gods in our deck that are lethal here. We draw Inquisition of Kozilek. See what your last card is. It's a land. And then we hit this concede button. Alright. So they're definitely on the graveyard hate plan. Still don't think that changes how we sideboarded, since we already kind of sideboarded as if they had some graveyard hate. Guess I'd love to play first. Sounds alright. So lose probably Pyromancer or Snapcaster Mage here. Guess they could conceivably take Death Shadow. But we're playing Tasigur next turn. And then hopefully following that up with whatever here. Take the Death Shadow. Okay. Draw another Snapcaster Mage, which is okay-ish, but not like fantastic here. I mean, Snapcaster, Snapcaster, Young Peasy. Okay. No reason to flash back looting right now. It's mildly annoying. Depends on if they have another land. Yep, they do. It's mildly obnoxious. Not unsurprising, but mildly obnoxious. I shouldn't have actually done that there. Should have just fetched that tapped. Was gonna flash back Faithless Looting, but then I thought about it. I need all these cards anyway, so. I'm really glad we didn't, go for the maximum greed play here. I think I should have just angered there. Especially with double Snapcaster Mage in hand. Frack. Should have bolted the 2 spirits and then used Snapcaster on the, whatchamacallit. So they take Snapcaster Mage. Interesting. Has double Conclave Tribunal in hand, which is annoying. I think these Shambling Vents are actually the bigger problem. Oh, it is. It definitely is. Lingering Souls is actually one of Grixis Shadow's worst individual cards to play against. And when you pair it with a entire tokens deck around it, it gets much worse. I mean, Liliana is reasonable against them, but not obviously great. Especially with Conclave Tribunal being a thing. Alright, sure. Well, I mean... Excuse me. This is going to lock up their turn with Conclave Tribunal as long as they don't draw like Lingering Souls or something. Yep. Well, I mean... Do I just wait to deploy this and hope to draw a Stubborn Denial? I mean... Now I'm going to get down to 1. Sure. I don't really like my opponent deploying spells here. I think it honestly makes more sense to deploy hopefully they tap out here and we draw Temur Battle Rage. TBR. TBR. Well, I mean, I can put them to... Well, TBR would have been nice here, but... it wasn't even called shot, it was just the play that makes sense there, because they can't kill us there. Maybe I shouldn't have played the Scalding Tarn. Okay, Soren's mildly annoying here. There is a Bolt. Did I leave Fatal Pushes in my deck? Nope. So I've got like a Bolt. I don't actually have that many outs to physically kill them here. Alright, so Thought Scour you. Thoughtseize is not the card we were looking for here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're... Staying back on defense doesn't do us any good here, because they can't gain enough life to not die, so they have to chump block here. If I were them, depending on if what they drew was a blank, I would attack with Shambling Vent, make a chump blocker, and turn this into a one-turn top deck. But they can always play it safe and hope to play the long game here. Yeah, I honestly think this is the better line. Or I guess they can just kill us. Never mind. That was dumb. Wasn't thinking about the go lethal line for our opponent there. Alright, well, going to call it a night after that. I mean, I still obviously like the deck. That was just a friendly reminder that the deck isn't completely unbeatable. We went 1 and 2, lost to Tron, lost to Black-White Tokens, We beat Blue-Red Wizards, so, I mean, that was just a friendly reminder that the deck is, in fact, very beatable, so gotta keep that in mind sometimes. But, trying to think. Obviously, I like a lot of what's going on with the sideboard. Don't know how much more like token hate we could even add. Like, I already have the 2 Anger of the Gods and the Engineered Explosives plus the 2 Teamer Battle Rages. So, Interesting. I don't know if we're really supposed to warp the deck that much after that, even. Abraid's like the one card I sit there and go, maybe. It's like the slot that's been switching back and forth between like the second Dreadbore, Disdainful Stroke. But I do like having outs to Ensnaring Bridge, plus it's also a reasonable card against Affinity Tron. It's a reasonable card in a lot of spots. So, trying to think if there's any thought to switching up the main deck. No, that's fine. I'm just like thinking out loud, and for other people who watch it later on YouTube or anyone else that's watching right now here on Twitch, I'll have to take a look at some of the more recent lists and see what they got going on. Guess I may as well just go ahead and do that. See if there's any other like tech or anything that's come up that I'm missing in the deck. It's not like Burn where I'm pretty much like set on one list and that's that pretty much. So this list, 3 Snapcasters, plays 3 Serum Visions, 3 Thought Scour, 2 Faithless Looting. That's interesting. Sideboard, they have a lot of the same things. A lot of them Answer might be worth a consideration, but considering our deck's already under attack from a graveyard angle, I don't know if I like that. Kolaghan's Command's fine in grindy matchups, but I don't know that there's too many matchups you actually want to try to get into or Grindfest. This version's running a Kolaghan's Command in the main deck, which I don't like. 3 Serum, 2 Thought Scour, that seems wrong. They are running 4 Gurmag Angler to note. Seems like 3 Snapcaster Mage is kind of the norm here. A lot of Kolaghan's Commands in these lists. I mean, I know Kolaghan's Command's a very powerful card. I may have to test out like one in the sideboard, maybe in one of the Abraid slots. But I'm not a huge fan of like 3 mana reactive plays out of this deck. This deck has a Snapcaster Mage on the sideboard, 2 Kolaghan's Commands. Radiant Flames is cute. I don't know. I honestly think, I mean, Radiant Flames is probably easier to cast, but Anger of the Gods is probably more useful of a spell. So, Look at Qui-Gon Jinn. A Jedi Master can't possibly be wrong. 2 Anger, 2 K Command. a stroke, an abrade, stub, a push, engineered. Looks like most of these lists are running the 4-fish. I mean, I know it hits harder, but sometimes Tasker is just easier to get down on turn 2. I don't know. Well, it's a grindy card that also has like utility against artifact decks. Like I understand the point of it, and the Snapcaster Mage Kolaghan's command loops are pretty nice in some of those longer games. But in my experience from playing Shadow, you're more of a... I guess before I judge, next time I'll try to run a couple K commands. Because I know my friend who's going to let me borrow the ley lines and the engineered explosives has access to K commands too, because he runs Marty Pyromancer. So if I decide I end up liking the K commands, I can include them in the list. But previously, it's just a very clunky card, so that's why the deck like streamed down and went to Team or Battle Rage. But I think on that note, I will try to like tinker with the list a little bit next time, since this is pretty much the deck I'm settled on. As much as our Burn aficionados over on the YouTube channel aren't going to be too happy. I mean, I'll still keep Burn as a backup in case this deck just feels awful for some reason. But you've seen War Dog. Burn's just been performing terribly for me lately. So, yes, I'm going results-oriented thinking, but I'm also trying to realistically give myself as much option as I can for this tournament. So, especially since I'm going to be going in against a bunch of like silver and bronze level, silver level pros plus. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, is like which deck am I going to feel more comfortable with as the deck I'll play, and I will have access to both. Jeskai I'm ruling out just simply because I don't like taking, unlike Space Marine, I don't like taking a control deck into a unknown environment. Like my local stuff, you know, that's whatever. I'll play control in those events. I don't care. But in an event that can, rightly so, change your life, you want to go in with something you're familiar with. So that's why I'm giving Shadow and Burn as much time and space as I can over the next 2 weeks. So, anywho, thanks everybody for watching here on Twitch. For everybody watching over on YouTube later, for here on Twitch, please consider giving us a follow. Right now, I'm streaming a lot of Grixis Shadow. I also stream quite a bit of Burn, some other modern decks, some standard stuff, both here and on Arena. Burn, I explained this to a friend of mine who was playing a lot of RPTQs and like making the top 8 but not winning. Burn is a top 8 win deck that is more inconsistent through the Swiss. Grixis Shadow, I feel, is a better Swiss deck that is more risky in a top 8 environment. The nature of the RPTQs, likely from most of the sizes I'm studying, you probably have to make it to either the quarterfinals or the semifinals, which means you don't necessarily have to win the tournament to qualify for the PT. Okay, let's pull up the RPTQ. It's just a random side note since this is what I'm testing for. So this is what we're staring at. Granted, they're getting rid of this, so I mean it's kind of obnoxious, but I'm qualified for this one, and if I do well in this one, I might actually qualify for the one for London. But the one my buddy went to last year was 6 rounds, which I wouldn't be surprised if the one I'm going to ends up being either 5 or 6 rounds. I don't think it'll make 7. So I'm counting on like a 5 to 6 round tournament. And for 5 to 6 rounds, see, 47 to 93. So 5 rounds, which is 17 to 32. So I could have to play through the quarterfinals and the semifinals, or the quarterfinals only. So I'm most likely thinking it's going to be 6 rounds, and hopefully it's quarterfinals only. And then, so it depends. So if there's more than 46 players, there's 2 invitations to the Pro Tour, which means you have to make it to the or under 46 players, you have to make it to the you have to make it to the finals to make it to the Pro Tour. If you top 4, you get an invitation to the last RPTQ for Pro Tour London in April. If it ends up with between 47 and 93 players, which is where I think it's going to end up, basically if you top 4, so you have to win the quarterfinals to make the Pro Tour, and then if you top 8, you get invited to the RPTQ. You also receive a regional playmat. How nice of them. And then here's the lackadaisical booster thing. So, but the one I am going to is this one, Mr. Nice Guys in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. I probably should email them here shortly. And then invited players, so people think I'm not blowing smoke. There we go. That is, as you've seen, War Dog, in the YouTube chat, my brother's name is Dale, boys. So, there's the proof that I'm qualified for the RPTQ. So, not too many more chances like this left, otherwise you're going to have to spike the bigger events again, either the PTQs or GP. So, this might be one of my best shots to ever make it to the Pro Tour. So that's why I'm taking this quite seriously. But, anywho, with that, we're going to call it an evening. Hope everybody has a great evening. Hope everybody watching this on YouTube later enjoyed the matchups and the extra bit of information of the research I've been having to do. So, this has been John, or Dusk, for Dusted on Gaming here on YouTube and on Twitch. Thanks for coming. Good night, everybody.